Hi everyone, my name is Tami. I'm going to be sharing a couple of excerpts from my book that I published last Christmas. Athletic, beautiful, smart, friendly, outgoing, and helpful. At 16, those are words most people would have used to describe me. Abused, ashamed, alone, unwanted, worthless, and unworthy. At 16, those are the words I would have used to describe myself. For years, I managed to mask my hurt and brokenness. I didn't want to be home, and I kept people at a distance. I refused to open up to an adult until I was myself one. At 22, I found the courage to tell my story for the first time. It took 6 years and moving to a different state, but I finally started to appreciate my uniqueness as well as understand my self-worth. Hopeful, loving, self-sufficient, determined, nurturing, self-confident, and worthy. At almost 40, those are the words I would use to describe myself now, and how I hope others view me as well. I am not the only person to ever feel unloved or unwanted, but it is easier to turn to our vices and escape reality than it is to face those negative and unwanted feelings of abandonment, rejection, and betrayal. Poetry and writing have always been how I processed uncomfortable and negative feelings, how I faced my reality and learned to let it be a part of who I am without it consuming all that I am. Behind these starry eyes lives a girl without disguise, beautiful and broken from all the things left unspoken until now. Here's to having the courage to be vulnerable in the hopes that it will help others to heal. This one is called Girl Gone Wise. I'm so tired of superficial attention. All I want is real love and affection. Yeah, I know, you think I'm attractive, but what you gonna do when you find out I'm not sexually active? Are you gonna keep trying to get to know me? Or are you gonna throw up deuces and say, peace out, homie? What about when you hear I don't really drink or do the club scene? Will you still want to take the time to make me your queen? Yeah, I'm sure. You're different than all the other guys. But sweetheart, when you say that, won't you try looking in my eyes? See, I'm done with the games and the half-heartedness. I'm far from perfect, but I deserve the best. Respect my mind, feed my spirit. Don't like what I'm saying? Feel free to leave it. Weird, old-fashioned, I've heard it all before. But I don't care what y'all say anymore. Because in this world gone wild, this girl's gone wise. And the only view I care about is the one from my father's eyes.
Ooh.
I wrote that over a decade ago. And after I performed it for the first time on stage, one of the other poets came up to me and asked why I hated men so much. And as a poet does, I went home and I wrote a response to that individual. So this one is called When You Look at Me. Beauty is only skin deep to those who can't see past the skin. Nowadays, no one wants to take the time to know the soul that lies within. Too worried about the latest fashions and how our hair looks, not paying any attention to the words inside the books. We don't want to be judged, yet we judge others. Not caring what's on the pages, just what's on the covers. Tell me, what do you see when you look at me? Shh. Before you speak, lay your stereotypes aside and open up your eyes. I need you to realize that without a test, there is no testimony. So here's a quick glimpse into my story. I was sexually abused when I was 16. My innocence was stolen from me by a man whom I considered to be a second father. He coached on the sidelines with my dad during his son's football games and was always there to lend an ear when I was having a hard time dealing with my parents' divorce, amongst other things. It was 6 years before I told a soul what had happened to me. My own family still has no idea. I suppressed the memory so much that I fooled myself into believing it never happened. Instead of facing reality, I put myself in situations where I was used and abused over and over again, almost always finding myself as the side piece never the main dish. If anyone wanted more than a physical relationship, I pushed them away. I believed that was all I was good for, even though I doubted my own beauty. I'd give up my body and do almost anything they asked. Just don't try to get too close to me. I lost all sense of my self-worth, and it wasn't until recently that I found it again. 6 years to find the courage to share my secret, another 4 before I was able to find my voice and speak. It's not that I'm mad or that I hate men. I've just finally come to understand and appreciate how unique I am. I'm so much more than what I allowed myself to believe because of one man. So much more than the only thing that seems to matter to so many men. I've learned that I'm more than a beautiful body. I have a beautiful soul, and that is worth far more than anything one can see when you look at me.
Hello, everybody. I haven't performed in 20 years, so thank you for sharing your stage and your time with me this evening. I have a couple of poems I'd like to read for you. This first one is called Caesar at the Rubicon. 15 forbidden feet of river in the January night between the tip of your sword and the clay banks of Cisalpine Gaul. Before you could place your gaze upon the beauty of the Po Valley, I bet you could smell it. For the first time, and as long as you could remember the smell of dying wheat fields and cold livestock. You didn't ask to come into this world with your sword on the outside, like a 100-pound birthmark. And you didn't ask to cross the geographical barriers of Mare Nostrum or Oceanus Britannicus. You didn't ask to cross the metaphysical barriers of history or the popular imagination. You only asked to cross the Rubicon, 15 feet of water, as you were born and asked to live. For generations, they stood as you stood, thousands of them, flinched and laid down arms, ashamed to want their name to swell, to blossom, or backs turned on their own longing, limped away back into the hinterland, to die in service of a land they could only hold in the mind's eye of their slumber. All those miles of salted liquid death, all those people put to your sword, 15 feet of river water, between you and the only true desire you'd had in nearly 50 years. They'd welcome you home, all they ask you do is lay down arms. A person cannot lay their bones aside. There is no renouncing the intangible spark of wild-eyed individuality. The wheat wants the sun, the baby wants the breast, the wolf wants the sheep, the wheel of night and day wants to turn, and the river wants to run. The soldiers wanted to follow, and you wanted Rome. What kind of barrier was 15 forbidden feet of river? Thank you. This next one is called Flat Tire. So, round hungry baby wailing on the side of the road. As fast as I can feed you, it's coming out your other end. I run my hand to comfort you, to quiet the sound of your distress. I feel an oblong steel rectangle pierced through your middle. And like any dejected parent, I know the moment has come for the feeding tube to be disconnected. The only thing to do is to make those phone calls and wait for the end to the sounds of your crying. Thank you. This is the last one I am going to do tonight. This is called How to Be Embodied. Your body is calcium. Your insides are embryonic. You are an egg. Who wants to be not an egg? They say contort your form, steady the rhythm of your breath, connect to the gnarled bark of an autumnal oak, rusted, ancient, eternal, universal, unique to you. Hear the stiff, frosted grass crunch beneath the weight of your boots. See your breath take form in small gray vapors. that match your internal rhythm become an intangible part of your environment, part of a webbed physical being that extends beyond the confines of your shell. You are more than a person. You are more than an egg. You are more than calcium and embryonic fluid. You are carbon dioxide absorbed into the yolk, ancient and eternal, to become an acorn or released again as oxygen, to wander aimlessly, or to return to yourself as you see fit. The Buddha couldn't tell you how to do it. The Christ, Henry Kissinger, Chuck Barris, Bukowski, they couldn't tell you how to do it either. No one who ever really made it, no one from Muhammad to Captain Beefheart, could pick you up off the long dry road that leads to Coca-Cola and put you on the one true path that leads to embodiment. If you want to be embodied, if you want to live in that moment, transform into that cool running river and use your presence to smooth stones to glass. Find a drummer who plays off tempo, loudly, but brazenly sure. Bask like a lizard in the radiant golden heat of their smile, and reach out to them with the part of your heart that is still a yolk, waiting to become a carousel. Thank you.
Well, in the past 3 years, I have been through 11 different jobs. So I'm what you would call a professional non-professional. I'm basically just a Swiss Army knife with all the blades at half length. So I'm going to carve this turkey, bring it closer. I've worked a lot of jobs over the years. I used to work at McDonald's. When I used to work at McDonald's, I was super embarrassed about the uniforms they made us wear. I thought they were like the most embarrassing uniforms that would be worn in fast food places. But then I went to Arby's the other day, and there was a short, fat, awkward teenager. And he was wearing a shirt on the back of it that said, "Certified Burger Expert." And I feel sorry for the kid because there were people who were looking at him like, "Yeah, I bet you are." Poor kid, he's not going to get any dates with that t-shirt. And also, the thing also really bothered me the most was like, Arby's is not known for their burgers. Like, I know there's probably going to be some certified burger legislator going like, "I'm going to need your certificate from Carl's Jr.'s University." I worked, like I said before, I worked a lot of jobs over the years. One time I worked a farm job, and I worked with a bunch of guys who used to work with my dad. And it's always interesting meeting guys who used to know your dad, but the thing that surprised me the most about these guys was how much they cussed like sailors. It's like, I didn't expect that, especially from guys who knew my dad. And I also felt kind of jealous because they would talk to my dad that way and he would buy them a beer, but I did in the second grade, I got a mouthful of soap. It's working with guys who knew my dad was very interesting. It's also, you reach that point where you're at the same educational with your dad, and when people usually get to that point, they usually become like super appreciative of what their dad does to see how they work, or they go to the other end and be like, "This is what you do, that's it?" And also, I should be very grateful like I got to meet my guys who knew my dad on the job. Because there's other guys who get that same experience, but instead, they get that in prison. Just like, "Yeah, it looks like your old man didn't teach you how to hide evidence." I worked a lot of jobs, and I do a lot of weird things before I go to work. Like, one thing I like to do before I go to a job is read a book of poetry. It really helps me prep for construction. Like, usually before work they do like physical stretches for the body, but I like to do mental stretches for the mind. It really helps it's the way I can I do it because it helps me convince like that English major was worth it. Just gotta keep working. All right, I'm going on to the next joke. And I'm just gonna say what I mean, and I'm just gonna just say it. Raisin cookies are evil. Yep, he gets it.
I love raisin cookies though.
Yeah, but but kids don't. And I don't like raisin. Listen, kids no kid likes raisin cookies. And if you're an adult and you decide to bring raisin cookies that are going to be consumed by children, I believe you belong on a registry. Because raisin cookies for a kid, like the raisin cookie is like the perfect embodiment of sin. Like they look very good, you take a bite and you're just like, oh, this looks really good, I'm going to take a bite, and it's just like, bleh. And when you take a bite, the only thing that raisin cookies are raisin is just saying like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Yeah. Yeah, I also go to Walmart a lot. But usually when I go to Walmart, I usually get one item at a time because I'm very cheap and that's all I can afford. But when you go to Walmart and you buy one item, you better make sure it's a very good item because before you walk out of the store, you were walking with that item in your hand. So people know what you're getting. So hopefully it's not something super embarrassing. Like one time I went to Walmart, I just got like a box of saltine crackers. So I just let everyone know like, hey, this guy knows how to party. But you know what? I'm not the only guy who does it. Like the other day I was at Walmart and this other guy, he was walking out with a Nintendo Switch 2. And what's weird is I saw him in the grocery department. I was like, listen sir, you're in the ice cream section, you're not supposed to be there. The Dino Nuggets are over there. Yeah, and also what's very interesting about Walmart is these days, like Walmart has a lot of very good books on their book selection. And I feel like it's a very odd place to have good books in a Walmart because you just feel like, oh, they're just going to go stay there. And also, I don't feel too proud of like buying a book at Walmart. It's just saying like, hey, I got something on discount. I just lie and say I got it at Barnes & Noble, like a gentleman. But also, it is like the books at Walmart are they're very symbolic of like the age we live in and like over information. Like, I've seen books on the Walmart shelves, the same books that were banned in prison. I'm like, this should not be so close to the gun section. Alright, I'll do one last joke. I'll tell you a little about myself. Like, one fun fact about me is when I whistle on the inhale. Anyone else do that? Woo! Yeah, I'm going to try it right now. That was all inward. Because usually when I whistle, I make music like the same way like a good musician makes music. It's just information going in and not excess going out. And of course, music goes the other way. It's very ironic how air goes in, sound comes out with me. Yeah, but the other day I was listening to a show tune down when I was walking down the street and somebody yelled at me. He's like, hey man, you really suck. And I was like, how did he know? All right, that's my time. Thank you very much.
All right. This one doesn't really have a name yet because I'm still sort of writing it, but that's what open mics are for. Back when I blazed up too hazy to face us, strangers just dancing alone. Well, I searched for the shorelines and the sands that call my mind. See a vagabond forever roam. But my love I forsake it. See, your heart's not worth breaking. Breaking is all there's to do. So through wholehearted struggle, I finally discovered I'm comfortable here in the cold. Yeah, I've been a loose cannon, struggling manic. The my only recall. Well, the tides when they tugged me, I knew what was loving, but it left me so hungry for home. And I've lost friends in Memphis, skipped town through Dallas, from Arkansas to New Mexico. Lost an eardrum in Reno, at a casino, from a lover I now call my home. And there's a pit stop in Destin, where destiny's resting. Some things are left here to stay. Spent time out in Humboldt, the redwoods they humble. Can't say I remember the name, 'cause it's been a long winter, and I've been a sinner. The fire my only recall. Well, I know soon the spring comes, summer then the rain stops. Right now I just love being cold. Well, I've been a loose cannon, struggling man, sorcerer without a stone. And there's a pit stop in Destin, where destiny's resting, but I'm comfortable here in the cold.
All right, thank you guys very much. This next one, feels a little incomplete, but it's called, you know, I think, I don't really have a name for it, Take Your Time. It was a song I wrote a few weeks ago. And you know, sometimes when you write, there's not like a certain specific thing that you're writing about. Sometimes you're just writing, and this is one of those songs.
I hear it come on strong, the beating of the drum. An echo whispers through me, a sound to soothe me and carry on. I slept out in the mountain, oh, surrounded by the wolves. The shadows, they were dancing, the fire night advancing through the flood. Take your time with me. Love is all that I see. Though the hurt, it can cut so deep, yet in the churning waters we still dream while half asleep, 'cause it's our superpower. 'Cause it's our superpower. Take your time with me. Love is all that I see. Though the hurt, it can cut so deep. Yet in the churning waters, we still dream while half asleep, 'cause it's our superpower. Oh, 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 'cause it's our superpower. Oh, 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 'cause it's our superpower.
This next song is called Idaho.
I took a load on. I took the high road. I took away west, on down past Idaho. Yes, I felt weightless till I was bitten by the serpent himself, and I got lost there. Burning old habits that tasted like hell, past the old gold mine. Covered in blood, oh no, I threw away my pride, and I gave into trust. I should have known them. You see, one day I'll be down at the end of my rope. That's when I dove in. They said they never seen water that was cleaner than home. That's when I told them. You see, I'm headed for the mountains where the river runs cold, past the old